My team and I have been studying evictions in Durham County, and our project managers gave us 3 research questions to study. We were looking at how we can accessibly display eviction data spatially. We were looking at the community level costs of evictions, and then we were looking at how rent impacts evictions.
What I like about a lot of Data Plus projects, in particular this one, is it really connects 10 weeks of really hard student effort with all sorts of agencies and institutions that are already operating in the city doing good work.
One of our main projects was creating an interactive visualization, almost like a data dashboard, that includes kernel density estimates, which are just heat maps, and then a choropleth map, which is just a map that shows where evictions are located in each block group and census tract in Durham. And we added sliders to that so people can see how evictions have changed over time, and then also change like the opacity, so they can see where these evictions are occurring. Another one of our prominent projects was looking at rent and evictions, and we ended up finding a 2-month lag in evictions and rent using the cross-correlation function. And what this means is that based off of the data that we had, we saw that rent increases, and then 2 months later, evictions increase. But what's even more interesting is that we found out that this correlation is only significant in the majority-minority neighborhoods, which are the neighborhoods that have 50% or more people of color. And we think this speaks to some of the vulnerability that these communities already face. And it also speaks to the severity of this issue and also the urgency to which Durham County needs to address these issues. Having so many evictions in a community have severe negative consequences. Just looking at the number of homeless people that are affected, the number of the healthcare costs. So seeing if Durham is able to divert those evictions, they can actually save a lot of money. It's most certainly increased my concern for the community, seeing that there's an average of 29 eviction filings per day, and that's a crazy amount. And that actually is around about 2,000 eviction filings just from the time that we've been studying this eviction data. So every day, more data is just added to our data set based on these evictions. And really, it's easy to look at that as just, it's a point on a map, but that's somebody's life that's at stake. They're losing their home, their sense of community. Their children have to switch schools, and then they'll not be able to keep up with their peers. And this is a significant life issue. It makes me want to help out more to figure out what can I do to help.
I think a lot of community groups have the potential to do an enormous amount of impact, but don't always have grant funding. And I think one of the things the funding agencies ought to look for is, what data do you have to back it up? What does this fit into? What's your evaluations and so on? And I think Duke students can do an enormous amount of good by working with them to help with projects to just beef up that grant resume. The labor done by the students each summer is a non-trivial fraction of the technical and data labor available to the city offices. And so I think they're able to see that.
Yeah, I think it's showed me the value to data analysis, because I think in our society we want cold, hard facts to prove a point, and a lot of times anecdotal evidence isn't enough. So if I want to go out and make change in Durham or help out with a social issue, it's really beneficial to be able to take a data set, to wrangle it, to clean it up, and to make a really clean data visualization that's accessible to anybody, even if they don't know anything about the data. And being able to be that liaison between the data and the community is really essential, and I'm looking forward to continuing that.